The thing that will bless me most is the people that come up to me and say, Nate, I'm here because you helped me find the Savior. Whether it was the guy in jail who had killed his best friend when he was drunk, or whether it was Doris Vance, whether it was people after people who came to know Christ because I was part of the eternity business. And then I've been blessed as I've gone along. See, this is the thing. It gets back to the question. If you think being a Christian is boring, you've missed the whole point. Being a Christian is a blessing. Not only in my life, but in the lives that I've had a chance to share with. I had the blessing of leading a cute young lady to Christ. And against all advice, she agreed to share my life. And look at her now. Had 3 wonderful kids that we had the opportunity to help them find Jesus. And look what God is doing in their lives. Amazing. And then I've had the chance to share in so many different ways. And I hope I've been a little bit of a blessing to you. But you see, just like Paul, it's an adventure. It's something worth doing. It's something of value. And then there's the exciting part. Remember I told you I was going to tell you that? I'm going to tell you the exciting part. Because when I was a junior in college, I decided to do a summer mission trip. So I went to Colombia, South America as a summer missionary. Lived with the missionary family and shared in whatever he was doing. And one of the things he did was he went to local conference. I've been to conference here a few times, but nothing like this. It was up in a mountain town on the border of Venezuela, where there had been several anti-government guerrilla events. But this little church up there said, we've never had conference at our church, so come to our church. Come be a part of our church for a few days. It's safe. Little did I know. When I go to conference, I stay in a nice motel room, and we go to a nice auditorium for the services. In that conference, I hung up my hammock in one of the church members' yard. You get 2 trees that are just the right distance apart, and hang up your hammock, and that's bedtime. They had tables spread out in the yard for mealtime to share together. The church was not big enough for the whole conference, so they brought benches from every house and laid them out in a side street. And it was just out in the street with a little podium in front. The first night as we're having the service, gunshots at the end of the street. Blam, 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 blam. You wouldn't believe how fast people can move. That whole street was empty except for me in seconds. And somebody comes running out, what are you doing still here? And grabbed me away. No problem. It was some guy celebrating. He had a few too many and he was celebrating with his pistol. No big deal. But that wasn't the dangerous part. That was the next day. One of the local pastors came up to the missionary that I was staying with and had a little conversation. And then and of course, you know, the language problem, so I didn't understand it all. Until the missionary came up to me and said, he said you proposed to one of the girls in his church. and he wonders what your intentions are. Now you see, I was so unafraid of gunfire that I stayed out in the street when everybody headed for the hills. But this was something else. What do you mean I proposed to somebody? And then I thought back, you know, being a typical American, I was taking pictures of everything that came about. And down there in the tribe, they think if you take a picture, you capture their spirit. So I never took a picture. I would take a picture and put the camera in my pocket quick before they figure out what the click was. But here, I thought it was different, so I asked people, is it okay if I take your picture? Well, there was this nice group of young people, including this cute girl. And I said, is it okay if I take your picture? I thought that's what I said. And they acted like that's what I said because they start getting into a pose, and I take the picture. And now, the next day, they want to know my intentions in relation to that girl because as far as she was concerned, a rich American, just so you'll know, in the third world country, every American is rich. It doesn't matter how much money you had, if you're American, you're rich. So as far as she knew, a rich American had proposed marriage to her. That took some doing to straighten that out. But the interesting thing about it is that turned out to be a critical part of my ministry in Colombia, South America. Because one of the problems that the missionaries had in sharing with the local people there was that the local people had thought that the missionaries looked down upon them. The reason that they had come was because they were a lower class people and needed extra help. And so the missionaries had not been able to bridge that gap. Until some dumb, young, rich American proposed marriage to one of their girls. And they thought that bridged that gap because they said, if he thinks that we are of equal status, that he would marry one of our young ladies, then maybe we're not lower class citizens after all. And I like to think that that was the most important thing I did down there. And of course the cool thing is, I did it accidentally, but God used it. So, back to the point. It's not boring to be a Christian. God has cool things for you, and He has cool things for you to do. And don't forget your pill right here to protect you. And it's not just Paul that has adventures, but it's anyone who wants to follow Jesus. Anyone who wants to be a part of the eternity business can have similar adventures. And I am thankful that God stepped in to help me, and I wound up with the right girl. But God has adventures for you as a Christian. God has good things in mind. God has a life that makes a difference in the world, that makes a difference in eternity. Amazing. This country boy from Vermont, this country boy from a little hill town of Craftsbury, can make a difference in the world and eternity. Just like Paul did, and just like you can. Let's pray. Father, I thank you that when you set out to make a difference in the world, you invite us to be a part of that. You invite me to be a part of that. And I thank you for the opportunity that you've given me and the things that I have seen you do through my life that made a difference in the world. And I pray for my friends here this morning. Help them to get a glimpse of that as well. Help them to want to be a part of your eternity business. That you might use them. That they might share in the adventure. In Jesus' name, amen.